I'm not a scientist. I'm not an expert in footballs. I'm not an expert in football measurements.
I don't want anyone rubbing them, putting in the air in them, taking the air out. To me, those balls are perfect, and that's what I expect when I show up.
I can't throw it over football. It's so goddamn hard about holding on to it.
Introducing Mike Cash Collins and Scott Stagg Simpson as the Fantasy Millionaires.
The Fantasy Millionaires have returned. Our first show. We didn't even get to finish last season, our first show since the tragedy of the Damar Hamlin that is now a great redemption story. We had one more show that we were going to do, and we didn't even feel like doing it. We were like, we can't talk about football, and we gotta pray. We gotta hope this thing turns out. I mean, that was just the end of our fantasy season. We never talked. This is our first time back. The end of the fantasy season was absolute chaos.
Crazy.
Yeah, there was drama in every single league we were in, especially our home league.
There was some drama in our home league.
Yeah, oh yeah. People had to come up with new rules, and we were going to do one more show with Lord Dennis Carter, and we were just like, can't even do it. It just didn't feel like pitter pattering about football with all that just dark cloud hanging over, this thing that we love so much. So
I mean,
they
stopped the game. I'm sorry to cut you off there. They stopped a game and never finished it. That's unheard of in the NFL. I mean, that's just it really was a different time. And like you said in the beginning, shout out to Damar Hamlin. He's doing well. And we can all just go and pray that we're ready for the next situation that happens, and we're ready to get the life-saving, medical treatment on the field. I mean, Damar was given, world-class treatment at the hospital, on the field, kept him alive twice. He died on the field, and then he died in the hospital again. So,
what I'm so happy about that's over with the Damar Hamlin thing is that people are accepting that he's a real person again. Do you remember that was going on for a little while, where people were like, did you catch any of that?
No, hit me to it.
Oh, yeah. Yes, your Twitter is just always so much cleaner and less crazy.
Less conspiracy theory.
Oh yeah. Oh, you didn't even see all the people who are just like, look at that person up there.
Yeah, that's not him. When he came to the Bills game, I think, was that when it was?
Oh yeah, there was that.
And a lot of the hater.
And then even like during press conferences and stuff, like people were still rolling with it. Like they were like, "Look at that tattoo! He didn't have that tattoo.
That's fake. That's a sketch. That's a sketch, bro.
He didn't have that tattoo before. Now look at that. Look, it's a fake. That's not him.
That's a bionic arm right there, bro.
Yeah, and people were like, you can get tattoos, like."
I think most of those people would call Theo Vaughn a thought leader. So, no offense, but those are the kind of people who are primarily generating probably most of those, lobs of conspiracy tweets. I would guess, but yeah. I'm glad he's okay. I'm glad he's back at the facility. I think last week he tweeted he's working out with the team again. So, it's
I want to know if there's any people still out there that are like, Damar Hamlin, like, dead truthers. Like, if he suits up and plays again in the NFL, like, who is that? Like, what is that?
Right.
Yeah. How deep does it go?
You gotta make stuff up. I mean, we talked about it we hung out, by the way, yesterday, and we'll talk about this a little bit too. We went to go see a comedy show, but you peeped me to this story, and it was I'll see if I can find it on Twitter. Basically, they had a deep fake of Trump, and he was saying he wanted to have relations with his daughter. He was getting a DNA test, and then his followers saw this, and then they had to kind of like on the spot make up like what he could be thinking to rationalize it. And that's just kind of like sometimes what people do. They just chase these ideas, you know, that are kind of just bullshit, you know, honestly. And you get a few connections on the dots, and then you're just like, dude, that's a tattoo. That's not his foot. He doesn't wear that size. He wears size 12. That's a size 6. You know what I mean? Just like, dude, calm down. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm less conspiracy theory than you on all these things, but I do understand it. I'm getting
Well,
me wrong.
I always like good stories. I like to keep my ear to the ground. So I have nodes of Twitter that connect me to that world. And like Josh Allen had to give an interview. It might have been like on Barstool. I remember somebody asked him a question, and they were like, and they were joking, like, but they were like, you know, this is out there in the milieu of all this, that he actually died. And you know, so like, you know, they were smiling and stuff, but they're like, so you've seen him and stuff. And he was like, I don't think he'd heard it yet. And he was like, really? People are saying that? And he was like, yeah, he was in the locker room. That's him. That is him. That was up. I saw like, that's crazy, you know. But
Yeah,
I mean, it was just one of those things that was like so intense that it doesn't surprise me. People got crazy. I mean, fantasy leagues got crazy. Our
yes,
league got crazy. That was like just a crazy experience. You know, like there is something that I think is, I don't know how to describe it, but they're like beautiful in a way, not beautiful, but like there was this crazy community event that happened where we all just like witnessed like the finiteness of our own lives collectively together, like however many million Americans are watching, you know, Sunday Night Football or whatever that was, you know.
I think it was Monday Night Football.
Monday Night Football, yeah.
Yeah. No, I remember in one of the leagues, people were going to blows, you know. Some of our friends were, you know, denouncing each other. I mean, I'm glad that in our league we were able to kind of coexist together without, you know, righting the ship. But we had a naysayer, we had a heckler, we had a boo bird who just kept trying to interject what he thought about the split that we were doing and how terrible it was. And so you had people who didn't need to be involved who decided they would jump in the fray too. So that causes friction. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it was a crazy event, and now we're in the off season, and we're just here to kind of, you know, bullshit around. Like, hey, we can talk about whatever we want to talk about. We don't have to talk about anything. I just saw there was a headline that Aaron Rodgers, the deal finally got traded.
Really?
Yep.
Is it real? Let me check and see.
Yep, it's real. It's like that happened like 5 minutes ago.
Okay, he is trending. I'm pulling it up now.
It's official. Aaron Rodgers is going to the Jets. Guess what? I don't care. I don't really care about football right now. Like, I mean, I care a little bit, but
I'm going to quote tweet you here. I don't care, and I'm going to make sure it's a quote so people don't think it's, you know, me. I'm tweeting this out. I don't care
that much.
I'm tagging that. Oh, that much. Okay.
Yeah, don't misquote me.
That much.
Don't be an agent of misinformation and chaos.
Don't misquote me. Adding that to it as well. Okay. All right. At the Ralph Macho, that is you.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure I spell everything right. I don't care that much. ... Don't misquote me. End of quote. Okay. It's out there now. It's happened. It's true. I can't undo it. I tweeted it out. I tagged you in it. So, well, I mean, we knew it was going to happen, though. That's why we don't care. I mean, we would care if
I just don't care.
Yeah. Do you care about the Jets? Do you care about any of that stuff? Do you care about the AFC East in any way?
I can't even imagine that we're going to be doing this
in a couple months.
Yeah, I
Right.
can't even imagine
Yeah.
we're going to be like, memorizing stats.
Hey,
Ugh.
listen, I got Taylor's a tight end. He's got in the last 6 weeks, he's got 17 receptions. He's got 29 targets. He's got 1 touchdown. You know what I mean? This week he's a real good sleeper.
It sounds horrible.
Yeah, it's not great. But anyway, listen, I'm not going to boast too much. I'm just going to say this: I won 3 out of 5 redraft leagues that I was in 12-man leagues and big tournaments like the Scottish Bowl. I didn't win those, stuff like that. But I'm about the little leagues I was in. I won 3 out of 5. I won thousands of dollars. Shh, don't tell the IRS. Right. So with that being said, I'm still getting payments of $69 a month from your boy for co-winning the championship. Listen, I was down by 4 points, and I had maybe in less than 4 points. I don't know. And I had the guy who was involved in the hit, T. Higgins, who actually hit Damar Hamlin on that play. He was my guy, and he was going in that game. And so like it did interject. It was a weird situation. I did like the coat chopping of it. So, but I just want to give the people a little background on this. But with that being said, though, I do care about football a little bit. And this is something that we've been talking about. And so I wanted to unpack it a little bit here because this is a great chance for me to be able to rock my new aqua shades. These are an homage. These are an homage to a fan base that really I found out gets their feelings hurt really easily. And I didn't know that. And I'm not trying to find that out intentionally, but I did. And so we have this theory, bantering about that, the more insecure you are as a person, the more maybe you latch on to your team a little bit. And the more that your team sucks, the more your kind of psyche suffers in a way. And so I recently interacted with the Miami Dolphin fan base, not the teal, but the aqua fan base. What do you think about fans in general before we unpack what happened with me? What's your magnum opus on fans? You've been a fan. You've kind of fallen away from the love of fandom, but you've been around the fan world like I have. You've touched on the different experiences of a fan.
Yeah. So we grew up here in the DC area in the 80s, and the Redskins won 2 Super Bowls, went to 3 in the 80s, and then they won 1 in 92.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Gibbs, one of the greatest coaches of all time.
True that.
3 Super Bowls, 3 different quarterbacks. That's absurd. And so we grew up very traditionally with an amazing franchise that really inspired in us this fan mindset. And it's been kind of weird. And then so Jack Kent Cooke was the owner, and then I don't know what the timeline was between him and Dan Snyder and how ownership worked, if his son had it for a little bit or whatever. But then Dan Snyder bought it, I think, in 98. And it's just been the dregs here ever since. Joe Gibbs, we had Joe Gibbs 2.0, which I absolutely love. People kind of look at it like it was like Jordan on the Wizards, which I also absolutely loved. I think Jordan on the Wizards was fantastic. But I mean, we've been to the playoffs like, a handful of times. Do we have a playoff win with Dan Snyder? I mean, it's just been absolutely garbage. And then meanwhile, fantasy has come on the scene. I think we started playing in 2006. And I remember in those early days of being in fantasy, you would you would have your friends get mad at you when you pick Tony Romo. You know what I mean? They'd be like, "Oh, you can't root for him," and you'd be like, "Yeah, I know what you're saying, man." And then just slowly over time,
I remember that
especially because this franchise sucks so bad. I mean, we literally have had one of the all-time most villainous, like a comic book character villain of an owner. Okay.
Like a Trump. We have a Trump. We have our own Trump here. Like,
Yeah.
just doing crazy stuff, just hiding away. You know what I mean? Just being, I would say, doing whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Literally whatever he wants.
His
with
house
women,
is up for sale,
you know,
by the way.
with
Have you seen his house? Have you
let's
gone
buy
on
it.
the
Fantasy
tour?
Millionaires.
Yeah, Fantasy
No.
Millionaires. It's like $60 million. You know,
So that's the Fantasy Millionaires dream right there.
yeah.
I mean, that's
Yeah, we have to win. How many millies are there that we can win each year? Like we'd have to win like for 5 years every millie just to buy that house.
No, because there's one for like showdowns and stuff too. We win those every one Thursday night.
But yeah, man, being in this area, I think for us maybe helped like cut the umbilical cord to being a fan, because nobody around here is like die hard. At least I'll say this: in this area, nobody around here is diehard that plays fantasy. And I do think fantasy, and the people who don't play fantasy have this mindset. Well, I don't want to get into fantasy because then it's like you're just like a gambler and you don't care about your team. Yeah, it's true.
It's true. Yeah,
It's
we're here to tell you it's true. But
it's a fact. And I don't know, man. It
gives you perspective, though.
I love it. I am sad now having young children in the home. My son is 6, my daughter is 4. She'll turn 5 at the beginning of the season. I try and get them into fantasy, and it is much harder to indoctrinate them because like I'm watching Red Zone and I'm like really struggling to teach my kids the love of this game. Like they get a little excited because daddy's excited, and then my son started wrapping his mind around like I'm trying to win money, and that got him really excited. But I like being a fan is really cool. Now that we have a new owner, maybe it will bring it back. But like watching what happened with you on Twitter, I think to me my takeaway is that I didn't know Miami fans go so hard. Like if you'd have done that with Philly, of course you're going to get that. If you'd have done that with the Patriots fans, of course you're going to get that. Like there's places, Giants fans, of course you're going to get that. Like there's certain areas of the country. All I really took away from it is like, I guess it doesn't surprise me that like Miami goes hard, dude. Like Florida is a wild place, bro. Like it just was like, it surprised me because you're like, it's Miami. Like,
what do they have?
Don Shula, like, why do you guys care? Like,
right? They haven't won a Super Bowl for 49 years.
Yeah, who cares? Like, why are you this passionate? Why are you this passionate?
You are? Yeah, who do you think you are?
Yeah, you're pretty passionate.
Well,
but it fits in. It kind of helped me like readjust like my mind of the country. Like, it's tough people that are like that. You know what I'm saying? Like they're just like, I'm gonna go hard.
Well, you want to see what brought them to their knees? Because maybe we need to back the story up a little bit.
Okay, back the story up. Scott, this is really what Scott cares about in the offseason. Listen,
I generated a whole hell of a lot of content during that weekend. Yeah. I owned Miami. I became the mayor of Miami. If you don't know, check it out. It's in my bio. But here's what happened. There was somebody from the Miami area, I believe, who's a fan of the team or who supports the team. He's part of the media, whatever it is. He films an off-season handoff fake as part of the video he filmed of a throw to Tyreek Hill in shorts. You can see he's got cleats on, but he's not going full speed. He's got no offensive line. It's just a guy faking a handoff. And I just tweeted out, I'm not buying it. That's it. That's all I said. Right. That's all I said. I said, I'm not buying it. And and listen, it was a throwaway comment. Honestly, I was making a joke because he was kind of slow in his little turnaround. And then he made a funny looking face. And I thought it was funny. Right. Really, really benign. Oh, no. Oh, no. They came for me after that. Love that this tweet got ratioed. The hate for Tua in some circles is incomprehensible. He's the nicest dude ever and is always working to get better. Is that your dad, bro? Maybe there are some subconscious culture war factors at play here. I mean, whose side of the culture war would I even be on? I don't know. Okay. Nobody cares what a self-proclaimed fantasy football analyst thinks. Josh, you did. You commented, right? So there's more. I love this. It goes on and on. One of them said, and I do quote, I don't want to say, I don't want to be mean to anybody, but it said almost 7,000 views, 12 likes. I was getting crushed, man. Like this was the nice stuff that the moron tweets, the idiot tweets. This was the good stuff. Then they came. I'm not even going to show you these tweets. Then the cucks came. You might even be able to see some of them on here. I'm not sure.
I saw despicable things that they were saying. Like,
oh yeah,
your wife. It was like, geez Louise.
They were talking about my daughter, mental competencies, and I mean, I leaned in a little bit. I said stuff like, like grown men crying, So I did. People jumped in on my side too. Someone said they're still not over the 6-month concussion. So there was a lot going on, but it sparked Dolphin mania, And somebody said not familiar with Tua Anon. I see it's a real thing. And,
what is it? Tua
Anon. So it's like
it's
like
QAnon.
It's Tua Anon. I guess I don't know. Tua Anon. I don't know how you say it. Yeah. Tua Anon. It is a real thing. And some of these things too.
Tuanon.
There you go. Tuanon. Dolphins are the most unhinged, broken people on Twitter. Welcome to Dolphins Twitter. The majority are simply part of the brain dead Tua cult. Thankfully, not all Dolphins fans in real life are on Twitter. I agree. And I don't think this way about all Dolphins fans, by the way. Let me just say, any Dolphins fan who doesn't treat me badly, I have nothing to, I respect everybody. But if you're going to say mean stuff about me or my family, I will make fun of you, and then I'll block you too. That's the fun part, is blocking people, because they get all fired up. And then other people are like, I heard you blocked somebody. And they come and start getting unhinged at me and start getting mad at me. I didn't even look for them. I was just blocked some other guy who called me a cuck.
How many blocks did you have to do? How much?
I guess over 100. I'm guessing over 100.
100 blocks.
Yeah,
bro. See, this is what I'm saying. Like, dude, God bless you and the amount of time you spend on here. Like, just 100 blocks sounds so mundane and horrible to me. Like, I can't even fathom like you had to do that 100 times.
Well, I mean, I was keeping tallies. I got called, the most common word that I got called was a cuck, and I got called a cuck so many times that it made me realize that this is just like the default, the end of the road thinking for people, right? So that's where it goes. Like, there's not anything else past that. They just get to a point where they're like, "You're a cuck." That's their insult. That's the worst thing you can be. That's the new, I guess it's like the word you can use to push anybody down. You're a cuck.
Yeah, that's interesting. I hadn't thought about how you can't say certain words anymore. Too.
No, it's their favorite word. Their favorite
cuck is safe. Like you're not going to lose your job if you call somebody a cuck. Like you can cuck it up. You can cuck out there all you want.
Cuck-a-doodle-doo, you cucks.
You can cuck-a-doodle-doo all over somebody's Twitter page. Yeah. Your boss sees it, and you're just like, he's a cuck. And he's like,
guy's a cuck.
Yeah,
man. What can
I can see it. His hair. Yeah, his hair looks like cuck hair.
He made a video where he said he forgave us for calling him a cuck. What a cuck. That was my favorite part. In the video, I said, listen, I forgive everybody. The new mayor of Miami forgives everybody for calling me a cuck, right?
Yeah. All
forgiven. No shame, no hate, right? And then people on the video responded, look at this cuck. Yeah, it was great. It triggered everybody. And But here's the thing. I don't want that to be the defining characteristic of me as a person. So I'm laying down my fights until the next fan base gets wildly triggered off of a small comment. And I did appreciate it because you said I manifested it. I didn't plan on it being the Dolphins. I just didn't know, honestly, that they were that insecure. But if you unravel it, right? For 50 years of not winning after being the best, a team that has never been kind of accomplished since then, the undefeated season with the Super Bowl, like they're butt hurt. They put Tua as their Jesus, and they watched their Jesus get destroyed last year by offensive line play that was terrible, and the defensive guys just ragdolling him, and then the coaches not pulling him out, the spotters not pulling him out, the NFL not protecting him, and so they, as a fan base, have their feelings wrapped up in him deep, and they feel protective of him like a mommy over a baby bear cub. But they're Dolphins, so they got to get over it. They just got to grow. They got to, and this was part of their growth. So
that was another thing that was interesting to me about it too, is that I'm objective. Like I personally, I like Tua. Objectively, what I think about him as a quarterback, and I'm objective with my limited, resources of playing fantasy football. But from a fantasy perspective, like I personally haven't made up my mind on him. Like I think there is evidence that, we had a 60-point fantasy game. I mean, he's got two amazing wide receivers, totally unique style for throwing the ball as a lefty. To me, there's evidence that he could be, in the top 10, and I don't think he's going to ever be top 5. So that's the part where I guess I also am sort of baffled, where you're so set on this person that really still hasn't proven that he's worthy of, a deep commitment from a fan mindset.
I think they're so desperate. I think what it is, it reeks of desperation, because the level, it's like just seeing somebody who is emotionally really immature as a group of people, because the backlash against me was quick, definitive, and it was just repetitively the same, and it just, belied underneath just that hurt, that sadness. And you know what? The truth is, fans put themselves into their teams, and then their teams let them down. And like in Washington here on the Junkies, when they lose, they call it Misery Monday, and all they do is whine and cry, and fans call them like, man, I can't believe we blew another game, man. I can't believe it. Buying $12 beers out here. And you're like, yeah, what do you expect? It's the Commanders, but when they win, it's a victory Monday. Dun, 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 dun. It's the best day ever. EB's just, like, I drank all night. I'm still drinking now. It's like, dude, calm down. So I think as a fan base, all fan bases need to level out a little bit and just be a little
I just don't know if it's possible, man. Like,
this.
I remember feeling that in the 80s and 90s. I felt that way in the 80s and 90s.
I felt it too, but also I was a child back then, and now I'm an adult. And so I think what I'm also hitting here is some grown-ass adult children. So there's grown-ass men out there on the football field, and then there's some grown-ass baby men who are in the stands who are drinking 30 Miller Lights and who are like, that's my soul right there, man. Mike Gesicki. I'm just like Mike Gesicki. They call me Mike Gesicki out there when I'm playing with my boys, And then Tua comes with Waddle, and then you got Tyreek Hill. Man, they felt like, I'm the man, and then they didn't even win the playoffs. They didn't win the first game. They lost.
Good luck. Good luck trying to change the world, bro. This is
I'm not trying to change them. I'm just trying to make fun of them, whoever them is.
You
Yeah.
can, but like
Not
that's the
changing
thing
anything.
about being a fan is that it is tribalism. Like
Of
that
course.
is what it is.
And that's
You
why
know,
it's so fun to poke the tribe sometimes, because you don't know what's going to poke them. Like, I'm not going to ever say anything mean about a player or hateful about a player or want any player injured or if anyone gets hurt, go, good. Or, oh, I said that guy got none of that. That's mean. And that's not how I do my jokes. What I do is I just make a little funny comment, like, not buying it, just something small, something little. And it's a fake handoff, but still, you got to sell it better than that, bro. Anyway, that's my point. That's all I'm saying. And they acted like I was Mel Kiper Jr. and I had just, I mean, who cares what I think? Yeah, I'm a stupid fantasy football analyst. Exactly. Why are you telling me this? Like, I already know. You know?
well, you're the mayor of Miami now, so
I own them. I've never owned any fan base like I do this fan base. And honestly, I'll tell you a secret. I've been trying to poke the Washington Commanders / Redskins fan base for years. I always say mean shit to them. Actually, they just
we're too.
they ignore
We're
me.
weird.
They're
I
just
mean,
like, you're right. You're right.
yeah,
Stop telling me the truth, man.
yeah.
Stop. It's
You
true.
can go. I mean, you can go to a game, and it's not even a home game. Like
Yeah.
it's always
Away game.
It doesn't matter who it is, dude. Like
I think the first thing they have to do is they have to bring back the family atmosphere. And Dan Snyder was not about the family. He wanted people there buying beers, getting drunk. And I mean, corporate America has moved on from that. Let's get a better stadium. Let's get a better way of life if we're going to be fans again.
Dude, I had something that I did want to talk to you that is, sports related, and was
Bring it
wondering,
in.
yeah, and it's exactly what we're talking about. Speaking of the Junkies, a few moments ago, did you hear their interview with Brian Davis, this weirdo that?
Yes, I did
Did you
hear
listen
part
to
of it
that?
the other day. Yeah.
You did?
Not well, it was from last week, right?
Right, right. It was,
Yes, I
it was a
did
week
hear
ago.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard the first part. I don't think I heard the whole thing. I heard I came in on it, and then I listened to the end of the first part of the interview, and then I listened when they came back for a little bit, and it was interesting, very interesting. And then
It was
I'm
wild.
hearing dogging on him since then.
Well, I mean, I actually heard about it. John Ward was the one who texted me. He was like, "Dude, I just listened to epic Brian Davis interview on the Junkies," and I was like, "Oh, okay." And then he said he quoted something funny that he said, and I was like, "Oh, okay, cool. I'll check it out." And I listened to it, and I was like, "This is the weirdest shit I've ever heard in my life." This guy is trying to he's trying to make a $7 billion purchase. I mean, so you listen to it, right? You
Not from stem to stern. No, I heard, like I said, the end of the first part, and then I heard the beginning of the next part. So I did not hear the whole thing, but I heard them making fun of parts of it throughout the next couple days. But I heard them saying okay, so how are you going to do this? What's the plan? He's like, I'm going to restore the waterfront, and I'm going to do. He started talking about building infrastructure up and doing all that, but I didn't hear where he was getting his money from. I didn't hear any of those things.
Okay, so
Fill me in. I need to be
all right.
educated.
All right. So basically this is what was compelling about the interview is that you could tell that the Junkies were in a position as a morning show that is trying to have a modicum of integrity as journalists to get to the bottom of something, right? They're in a position where they actually can ask these questions, but they also like this guy. I mean, I think EB said they had mutual friends, and he's not he grew up in this area, they it's like they didn't want to offend him, but they did continue to pretty much stick to their guns of just trying to ask him specific financial questions. Here was one, so you're a billionaire, because the rumor is that he is a front, right? That maybe I don't know, like maybe some Saudi group or some like huge organization with the money. There's lots of people in the world, not a lot, but there are people in the world, certainly groups of people.
So he's a straw man. He's a straw man, money man, but he's a straw man made out of money.
Right. Yeah. So that's like the rumor on it, right? Because
who propagated that rumor? Was it Valdezi?
Well, no, I mean the rumor is just kind of
Internet
organically sprung up because how does this guy who played for Duke and played a few minutes, I think, in the NBA, I don't know what let me look at his Wikipedia. I mean, drafted by the Phoenix Suns, played in the League Nationale de Basketball. I mean, played 93-94 season with the Timberwolves. So, like, it's not LeBron James.
I've seen him.
Right?
Yeah, I've seen him.
Yeah. You would remember him from Duke. Like,
yeah, I do.
I
know exactly who that guy is.
Yeah.
So this lion guy here is Lion Dookie. He couldn't pass the sniff test. Huh? The Junks were outing him a bit.
No. See, that's what was so interesting about the interview was that he actually was speaking this weird, like I would call it con artist language, but it doesn't have to be called con artist language because it's not like he might not have said one thing that wasn't true. Like he had a way of answering things, but here was the one thing that was interesting. So they asked him, okay, are you a billionaire? And like his answer was something like, well, I wasn't born a billionaire. And then he would move through this like little verbal jujitsu, and he was like, but as of today, right now, I'm a billionaire. And they were like, so wait. How did you become a billionaire? And it was like, well, I have this expertise in you remember the guy who was the you would watch those infomercials that had question marks on his shirt, and he would tell you how to get money from the government.
Yeah, I remember him.
He kind of sounded like that guy,
or the Miz or something.
Question mark man, whoever that guy was. He was just like, oh, you can get it for buying a new home. You can get it for starting a new oil company.
You can go to a strip club.
Yeah, but he was always trying to tell you how to get like grants, like you could get.
Right.
So this guy, Brian Davis, basically has this company that he said he has sold. He sold his intellectual.
Urban Echo Energy.
That's right, something like that. Yeah.
LLC.
Which Google it. It's nowhere. It's like you can't even find it. Anyway, he said that somehow this has given him. It's got some type of net worth or valuation of $50 billion, and that he can come in with a cash offer. So he's offering more. He was saying, I'll pay $7 billion because of the bid is like point something. And that was last week, so I don't know, but he might be the new owner. I don't know. It hasn't. Nothing's happened yet with it. I mean, but my question was, and you do have to listen to the whole thing. Is like, why is he doing this? Like, what is the point? Like, why is he going on the junkies? Like, either he has the money or he doesn't, right? Or he's insane. Option 3. So I don't know.
Yeah. So here's the article just dropped a couple hours ago, and it's in if you it's called Essentially Sports.
Okay.
And it's the title is it was published at 12/27. Despite overtaking Magic Johnson and Jeff Bezos, Brian Davis Commanders bid worth $7 billion faces dramatic dead end by Mohammed Asif Ansari. And if you go to his Twitter, I can pull it up here since I'm I'm referencing it, or not his Twitter, but his article. He's written a lot. So he's written 84 articles. So here, I'm not trying to hide the sources of my. It's not like Jamie with the junk with Joe Rogan. So this is where I came from here. Despite overtaking Magic Johnson, let's read a little bit about it. It says former Duke basketball player and DC United minority owner Brian Davis had a $7 billion offer to buy Washington Commanders, but it was rejected by Magic Johnson's, a former NBA player, $6 billion bid. Davis claims that he has the funds to purchase the team and has offered Snyder a $1 billion upfront and the rest paid within 2 days. However, it seems that this deal has finally come to an end. But why is Snyder not ready to deal with Davis, even with a higher amount? There are rumors that Bezos may be funding Brian Davis as a backdoor to bid for the Commanders. However, Bezos is reportedly not bidding himself, as per WUSA 9. And there is a feeling within his camp that he has been used to drive up the bidding. Last week, Josh Harris was the primary bidder, but Steve Papadopoulos, let's see if I got that right, and Bezos were also mentioned. Davis is reporting trying to put together a voltage regulator to get the Commanders away from Josh Harrison. It says Harrison in here. I thought it was Josh Harris, but whatever. Maybe it's a typo. DC native Brian Davis, who once held a minority share of DC United, is bidding to purchase Washington Commanders. However, questions have arisen regarding his claims of vast wealth and business success. Interesting. As he has been sued several times for not paying back loans, breach of contract, failure to appear in court, and defaulting on loans per WUSA 9. On March 27th,
he addressed these in the interview. He addressed all
Yes.
that, and it
Yes.
sounded more just odd. I mean, he also
Yes.
used like legalese to get around it.
Yeah. Well, it says on March 27th, Davis and his company, Urban Echo, were sued for failing to repay $322,000 in loans from a DC man. Davis claims that Urban Echo is the source of his wealth and has yet to respond to the court summons. So he's dodged it. Okay, that's good. When asked by WUSA 9 why he wants to purchase the team, Davis stated that he wants to unite all the people in America behind something beautiful and positive.
That's all he kept saying, too.
I'm trying to unite all the people in America together behind something beautiful and something positive. And as per Davis, it is more than just business to him. I'm going to show them that the money's clean. It's verifiable. It's unencumbered. Davis wants to show that his money is clean, verifiable, and unencumbered. This reporting is killing me. And you could spend more with money with the people that are in his community. And so then underneath, though, it talks about his business mistakes and stuff. So I don't know. It sounds like it's not going to happen, though. So
yeah, I guess. I mean, but that's the other thing. It sounds like from this article, I don't know if that's set in stone yet, because like the really intriguing thing is like, why wouldn't Dan Snyder? If I was Dan Snyder, I don't care who it is. If somebody has $7 billion and you can vet that there's an actual $7 billion offer that is. Is supported, right? That there's going to be a
he's
transfer.
Going to get it. He's going to get it. You know what I mean? Like he's going to get it. He's going to get it.
I'm just saying, if I was Dan Snyder, I'd take a $7 billion offer over a $6.4 billion offer, right? Like,
yeah,
no brainer. So my question was, after listening to him, was, I mean, is this person absolutely insane? Which maybe, I don't know. I don't know how you get on the junkies, and I don't think you could be insane to just be sitting there talking like that. Like, I mean, why would you? I mean, that's option one. Option two is he's lying for some other reason, right? To drive up the bid, right? Self-promotion.
To work for Bezos, maybe.
Maybe he's trying to like get his company out there. Echo. Yeah. Echo. I keep hearing
Urban Echo.
Yeah. Or option three, it's real. And then if it is option three, like, how is it real? So I was mad intrigued. It was definitely it was but when you listen to him talk, you remember Max, my mom's husband?
Yes.
Yeah,
The
and
con
you got to spend a little bit of time with him, but I don't know if you ever got to like hear him talk business.
Uh-huh.
Okay, we never found out what he did
Mm-hmm.
ever.
But
We
he
don't
had
know.
enough money to live, and
Oh, sometimes he didn't have enough money, and sometimes we would go stay in the Rain Man suite in Las Vegas. Like
he did a little feast or famine, but a lot of feasting.
I watched him play $100 slot machines. Like,
Holy shit!
yeah, like there were times where the money was absurd, right? Okay.
Mm. The grift was good.
Well, I never, ever, he is dead now. I don't know. I still don't know. I actually was cleaning out my emails the other day because I'm getting they're trying to make me buy
Oh,
upgrade.
I did. Yeah, I felt that. I deleted a bunch of emails too.
Yeah, I was like, I ain't doing it. I was like, I'm gonna clean this baby up, and it was
Delete
hard.
my Gmail.
Yeah, well, I have Hotmail, so like I
Oh,
don't know. I
geez,
think
yeah, you're
Hotmail's
living in
better.
another century.
Yeah, but I think Hotmail's better because they get like I have actually a lot of space. I don't have to clean up that much, but like it is now starting to get to the point where it's getting Gmail hard. Like
Uh-huh.
I'm like working to do it, so I'm like I had like saved messages in there, and so one of them was this phone call, and it was like the weirdest phone call ever. It was like I swear to God, they're talking to like Swiss bankers, and the whole purpose of this story is to say that I've heard people talk this language before, and he sounded like that's what it sounded like. It's
Sounded like
like
he knew it. Maybe he did. He was living in the
I'm just saying it was cool to hear
Lugaburven.
someone. It was cool to hear that language again, and like the junkies too. Were like when they hung up, they were like, "That was a bunch of word salad." Like they couldn't. They were just like, "My head's spinning. What did he say?" And
Yeah.
like that is what at least the people I was exposed to could do. They could do it to your brain. Like they would just start talking about trusts and LLCs and transferring of funds and blah 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 blah. And then eventually you're just like, okay, well, it sounds like you know what you're talking about, you know?
Yeah.
And maybe he does. Maybe he does. Maybe he's got $7 billion. I don't know.
I don't think he does.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't
I
know.
don't think he does.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's interesting.
well, yeah, interesting that we don't have to talk about anything that we don't want to talk about. So
No.
talk about whatever we want.
I mean, what did you think about Rory Scovel last night? We went to go see him for the first time, and I had not seen him. I'd known of him though, and I had at least watched one of his specials. What did you think of Rory?
That I think I'm gonna put that in my top 3 as well. Like I think I'm gonna put Big J Okerson, Patrice O'Neal, and Rory Scovel as my favorite. So I think me and you have now we're in our 20s in terms of shows. Like I think we've been to like 21, 22, something like that now of live stand-up comedy shows. So we've seen a lot. We've experienced a lot of different kind of comics, and to me, what I'm paying for, well, and why it's one of my favorite things to do because it happens at every show. As long as it's a good headlining stand-up comic, I always get the experience of laughing a bunch and feeling like actual natural just dopamine from my body from somebody making me laugh and loving that this person can do that to me. So to me, and to you, it's our favorite thing to do. We do our man dates. Sometimes we got bro dates. Last night we had, a couple other homies with us, and it was awesome. It's like the best thing in the world. Dude, I 100%. I didn't know. I didn't know that this dude, like, it was like I said, top 3 probably for me
Yep.
too. Like I laughed so hard, and
I
dude, I
cried the
mean,
whole time. Like literally just tears running down my eyes.
yeah, 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 yeah. I actually wrote about it. I just wrote one sentence. I said the show was amazing. Rory destroyed. It was an unrelenting explosion of inappropriate, sacrilegious, sexually explicit material that had us all literally crying.
That's a great way to sum it up. There was so much sexual explicit material.
Oh, yeah, it is X-rated.
No,
Yeah.
it was double, it was triple X-rated. It was some of the most like just oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I can't even talk about it on the show. It was that just it changed my
No,
life.
like Lenny Bruce, he's the original stand-up. He's basically what started this whole thing in America. Like he fought and died so that Rory Scovel could do what he could do on stage. Like, I mean, this
Yeah.
guy, Lenny Bruce, got arrested multiple times because he'd say boobs and penis, so
Right.
that Rory Scovel could do double penetration jokes.
Right. He could
Yeah.
talk. I think my favorite part of all of it was when he became a giant god on stage and just started
Oh,
wreaking havoc on the people.
oh
That
my
just
gosh.
it took it to another level. And then I started thinking about his set again today, and I started thinking about the perspective of the people in the front row.
Yeah.
Because he was just picking people up and eating them. He
Yeah.
ate the Pope. And
Yeah.
like that's
Yeah.
what it kicked off the crazy. Like he started by making fun of church, and I'm not going to steal his joke, but I really liked how he was like, if you haven't been to church, imagine it. If you have been to church, I've been to church. It just
Yeah.
started right away going after church. And I was like, this is going to be another level. Like, I don't know if
Well,
everybody's
see,
ready
to
for
me
this. So.
too. Like, I mean, he was saying all sorts of stuff I disagreed with, and I don't feel personally in my life at all. But he was so funny, and he was such a force, a tour de force that because and what it ultimately what I walked away from is like my favorite thing in comedy is like I almost kind of hate some of the stuff you're saying, like. But you are so good at saying it. You're so good at saying it. Like it's a guy who could literally talk about anything and make it funny. Like things that I don't happen to agree with at all. Like he was talking about cheating on his wife the whole time, the whole show. The whole show was in and out about it. He wanted to literally cheat on his wife. And he made it so funny. It was so funny. It was like I mean, there were so many things where I was just like, this guy, dude, his star, I hope it's on the rise. I don't know if it's on the rise because I think he might literally be too dirty.
He's a little shisty with that, the X-ray.
My favorite experience too, part of, I think what made the show great was that there was a 3-act progression to lead up to him too. And the opening comic was so bad. I mean,
it's one of the worst I've ever seen.
That is the worst. He would be in my top 3 in terms of shows I've ever seen. His opener is my number 1 worst opener I've ever seen. I mean, I didn't hear a word he said. He just was laughing. He just sounded weird. I didn't hear him. And then our boy Danny Rouillet from 106.7 The Fan was number 2, and it was like such a great, like, oh God, thank you. He actually is like funny.
Yeah.
But he's still, he's not a stand-up. He's a radio host. Like, so his meat and potatoes is when he gets into the impressions, and then when he gets into the impressions, he's murdering. Like
the Trump
that is
ridiculous.
That like just keep going. Baby. Do those impressions because they're hilarious.
They're the
best. Then the guy after him was obviously like
a real comic,
road comic with skills, and just you could see the difference between him and Danny, where like this guy, it's just immediately when he's on stage, there's just a presence to him, and he was like Iranian, he was hilarious, loved him.
I think he was from Iraq. He's from Baghdad.
Iraq, yeah, Iraq. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then Rory goes on. You're like, oh, okay, that'd be kind of a tough act to follow, and then it ain't a tough act to follow.
No,
It is like this guy is in a whole nother dimension to how freaking funny he is.
I love him so much, and I didn't know I loved him as much as I do now. After watching, he made me cry. And I've watched his special like 3 or 4 times, and on Netflix, you should watch it. It's called Roy Scovel Tries Stand Up for the First Time, and it's not his first time, but it's hilarious. All right, we gotta get out of here soon.
Yeah, we're doing 3 tweets, right?
I got 3 tweets. So first of all,
let me send you one because I haven't even
do it. I'm just gonna say this. Denny Carter. Not gonna pull it up. But Denny Carter is my guy. I love him so much. His fights with the New York Giants fans inspired me to fight against the Dolphins fans. And then also Tom Segura and the stuff he said against Arkansas and against Louisiana, the Bayou. So I appreciate that. I'll fight against a fan base. That's fine. So, but Denny Carter did say the only thing I can do now as the mayor of Miami is to kill and eat a dolphin on air. So that's like the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life. Like I got no choice. Like it has to be done. So with that being said, here's Denny.
A live dolphin.
Yeah, a live dolphin, a live one, not like bring a dead one.
Yeah, you can't kill it. You have to eat it.
Kill it and then eat it on live. Yeah,
that's chirping.
It's one of the funniest things I've ever heard. Okay, so this is Denny, and this is him talking about his best ball. People reacting to his takes on best ball. So make sure the volume's up on this bad boy. Yep. Okay. Good. All right, here we go.
With all due respect, you should drink bleach. I kind of like your quarterbacks.
With all due respect, you should drink bleach. I kind of like your quarterbacks. I love Denny. I love Denny.
With all due respect, you should drink bleach.
You should drink bleach.
I kind of like your quarterbacks.
I kind of like your quarterbacks. I love Denny.
Nobody is less scared to poke the bear of a fan base than that dude.
Drink bleach. That's Denny. Yeah. I love it. Okay, so let me check. You got yours in here?
All right. I just sent it. Go to the no, not that one. Go to the first one. Yeah. Did I not send it? Okay, hold on. I want to go with this one. I don't know. Maybe you saw this one. Maybe you didn't. But this made me LOL so hard. Okay.
Did it come through yet?
I'm sending it right now.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Oh no. This tweet was deleted. Oh no. Shit.
Well, let's go with this. Let's go with this other one that you did.
All right. This is my man Duncan Trussell. When I eat and chew food, I chew every bite 500 times, then spit it into one of my needles and inject it directly into my stomach through my belly button. Now I'm paying the price.
now I'm paying the price.
Yeah.
Dude, that's so funny.
I should have listened to my friends. They were right. Yeah.
I wanted to change the eating game.
But all I changed was my digestive system. My belly button fell off. Gas is a foul odor. And when I sit up, it makes this horrible wheezing sound. He's so funny. And that's the first time I'd seen him tweet in a while. Like there are certain people on Twitter that are just so absurd. Duncan Trussell is like literally one of my favorite human beings.
You started this thing because you took me to see Duncan Trussell. I think you started the paying it forward here. And I loved it. We passed around Sage together. We chanted with him, and we were in a little small room and became blood brothers that day.
And that was one of my favorite shows too, man, because it was such a weird, different show. Yeah, we did like a weird chant. We did like an Yeah.
I loved it. Yeah, I think you win. He's injecting through his belly.
Well, that was supposed to be my winner tweet. Damn it.
Okay. Oh, okay. Well, then they just get 2 tweets. That's all. They don't get 3.
Let's see. I could give you this one. Since I won. Here you go.
I got one.
You got one. We can do 4. All right.
Yeah, I got one. Here we go. This is you can't miss. This is just one of the classics. Okay, here we go. All right, here we go. There's no explanation needed. This is Sonny.
He's back at the lab performing outrageous sexual experiments on her supple young body. Now here's the twist, and there is a twist. We show it. We show all of it. Because what's the one major thing missing from all action movies these days?
Rory would love this.
Full penetration. Guys, we're going to show full penetration. We're going to show a lot of it. I mean, we're talking, graphic scenes of Dolph Lundgren really going to town on this hot young laptop. From behind, 69, anal, vaginal, cowgirl, reverse cowgirl, all the hits, all the big ones, all the good ones. And he smells crime again. He's out busting heads. Then he's back to the lab for some more full penetration. He smells crime. Back to the lab, full penetration, crime, full penetration, crime, penetration. And this goes on and back and forth for 90 or so minutes until the movie just sort of ends.
Dennis.
That was all Rory Scoble. Yeah, that was in honor of Rory. I had to dredge that one up. That's just Dennis is the best. He's the ultimate creep. You know. You can't get away from it. So, well, this has been great, man. This has just been me and you talking. I love it. As always, we'll be back this year for fantasy football. Don't worry,
Off-season content, baby. Yeah, maybe like we got like 3 or 4 more of these before we have to put back on the fantasy analyst uniform and
we haven't even talked about Elon Musk ruining Twitter. You know what I mean? Like, there's just so many things to talk about.
Chat GPT. I mean, we got lots of stuff.
Stuff. Crypto's like way in the background. I remember that last year.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No. Well, this has been great. I'll let you close it because you're our guy. You get us out of here.
Well, happy Monday to everybody. April 24th, 2023. Go about your day, and peace and love as always.
Peace and love, everybody. We'll see you guys next time.